The history of psychology is filled with fascinating discoveries and stories about the people and events that shape the modern mental health world we live in today. One of those people are Erik Erikson, who has made a contribution to the field of psychology with his developmental theory. Erik Erikson was born in 1902 in Frankfurt, Germany. He moved to the United States along with his wife in 1933, when he began to study child development and focused on psychosexual and developmental stages. Although he went to college, he never actually received a college degree, but he did receive a diploma through the institute where he studied. He taught at many different schools, including Harvard University, and had a private practice in child psychoanalysis. He possessed a special interest in the influence of society and culture on child development. Erikson impacted psychological theories by expanding upon Sigmund Freud's original 5 stages of development. He believed that each person progressed through 8 stages of development, which is known as the psychosocial development theory. Erikson emphasized that the environment played a major role in self-awareness, adjustment, human development, and behavior. The psychosocial stages views the impact of social experience across the lifespan. Erikson believed that personality developed in a series of stages, and each stage represents a developmental task that the individual must master at a particular place in the lifespan. Each stage builds upon the successful completion of earlier stages. The challenges of stages not successfully completed may be expected to reappear as problems arise in the future. With each stage, there are 2 possible outcomes, either a greater strength and competence in the stage or greater weakness and vulnerability. So let's go ahead and discuss each of the stages. The first stage is trust versus mistrust. This occurs in infancy, which is birth to 18 months old. This is when a child builds trust when basic needs are met, such as comfort, food, and warmth. However, if a child is not cared for, then they can become insecure and mistrustful. The second stage is autonomy versus shame and doubt. This is the toddlerhood years, which is 18 months through 3 years old. This is when children begin to develop and seek out independence and personal control. Success in this stage allows people to develop will and determination. However, if restrained too much or pushed too harshly, a child can develop a sense of shame and doubt. The third stage is initiative versus guilt. This is in early childhood, which is 3 to 5 years old. Children begin to explore their environment and exert more control over their choices in this stage. Success in this stage can help a child develop a sense of purpose. Guilt feelings can arise if a child is irresponsible and/or made to feel too anxious. The fourth stage is industry versus inferiority. This begins in middle and late childhood, which is 6 years old to puberty. This is when children begin to develop a sense of personal pride and accomplishment by mastering more formal skills in life. Success leads to a sense of competence and trust. A mistrusting child will doubt the future and may experience defeat and inferiority. The fifth stage is identity versus identity confusion. And this begins in adolescence, which is 10 through 20 years old. This is when people begin to figure out who they are, what they are all about, and where they are going in life. They begin to develop a sense of fidelity. However, those who do not succeed in this stage can feel confused about their role and place in life. The sixth stage is intimacy versus isolation, and this begins in early adulthood, which is 20 to 30 years old. This stage is when people generally begin to form healthy relationships with each other. They can experience true intimacy that makes possible good marriage or a genuine and enduring friendship. In this case, though, if someone is not able to develop those type of relationships and bonding with other individuals, then they can become socially isolated. The seventh stage is generativity versus stagnation, and this begins in middle adulthood, which is 40 to 50 years old. People in this stage are concerned with what they've contributed to society and leaving their mark on the world. Success can come from raising a family and having a career. People can feel a lack of growth or development when not contributing or successful, though, in this stage of their life. The eighth stage is the final stage, and it's integrity versus despair, which is in late adulthood, 60 years and older. This is when people begin to reflect back on their life, and those who feel a sense of satisfaction develop a sense of integrity, wisdom, and peace. However, people may experience bitterness and despair if there are feelings of regret in their life or things that they may not have fulfilled that they wanted to. One of the strengths of psychosocial theory is that it provides a broad framework from which to view development throughout the entire lifespan. It allows us to emphasize the social nature of human beings and the important influence that social relationships have on development. Today, this theory is still being used in counseling and as a model for mental illness treatment. Researchers have found evidence supporting Erikson's ideas about identity and have further identified different substages of identity formation. Erik Erikson is one of the most influential psychoanalysts of the 20th century, and the impact he made will continue to live on with generations to come.